Welcome, everyone. Welcome, all of you creative souls. I am so happy to see you. Thank you for putting on your cameras. I love seeing your beautiful faces and feeling your energy. Um, we are in day 2 of stepping into the creative flow. If you missed day 1, I do recommend going back and watching that because each of these sessions build on to itself. So this is being recorded and it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be up till November 27th, and then I take them down. So if you do miss a day, you are welcome to go there and watch it. All right, so how's everybody doing? Did you guys have fun yesterday? Hope so. Did you have any more insights that came up? I loved reading everyone's post and seeing your art and giving yourself that opportunity to dream and just looking at what your desires are. It's an incredibly important question that we need to ask ourselves often, right? It's not just like a once a year vision board type of thing. It's this continuous conversation with our soul. And we're going to be talking about that today, especially of manifesting abundance, because everything, like I had mentioned yesterday, everything in life is interconnected. So when we want to step into our soul's desires, we talk about money, we talk about abundance and experiences and things like that. And it is all interconnected. So it's looking at believing that we are worthy of those desires. That's a huge, huge one. Taking that time, that space to listen as well, connecting with source energy to feel it and allow it to come to us. Because really with manifesting, it's about believing, and it's also having that energy within us. So if we need to heal, we need to honor that part of ourselves. We talked about that yesterday about, whatever that energy is, go with it, make art about it, be in it. There's a lesson there that we have to learn. Okay. And so moving on to that manifesting energy is when you are in that flow. And so that was why we discussed what your soul desire was yesterday, because me just giving you an art technique is not going to get you into the creative flow. It's got to be your desire. It's got to be your desire to show up consistently. And that's what's going to pull you through. Okay. All right. So we look like we have a good bunch here. We got 37 people. Amazing. Natalie says, love the visualization process. Had additional insight this morning upon waking. Oh, tell me more. Natalie, tell me what the additional insights. I love hearing stories like that, right? Because when we listen, we are going to get those nuggets of goodness. We're going to get those nuggets of what's the next best step. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow too, about taking action, because action is really how we do the healing work, but it's also how we do the manifesting work, is by moving the energy. So we had Holly Zaza, who is here today, which is amazing. She won the bundle for helping promote this creative soul experience. And I picked someone else for today, and I want to announce the winner. The winner is going to be getting the Oracle deck, which is pick a card on a daily basis. It'll give you some insight for healing or manifesting, wherever you're at for that day, whatever your energy is attracting. And then also this book. And we're actually going to be doing an exercise from this book today with the root chakra and manifesting money. Okay. So you're going to get that, and you're going to get the painting classes. And the painting classes are just showing you step-by-step exercises from that book of this, creating your own chakra set with your own symbols, or you can use symbols of the chakras. And I'm going to go over that in just a minute, but I want to tell Ryan Spies, congratulations, because, oh, I see her right there. How amazing. You are the winner. And
Thank you. I'm very excited. Thank you.
You're welcome. So congratulations. And you know what? I loved your painting. I thought it was beautiful. It was like this kind of labyrinth path. But it also, you talked about your future self gave you a gold key. And that is actually my logo. Like, my future self gave me a gold key too, when I was thinking of like what I want for my business. And it's about unlocking, right? Unlocking your soul, like opening yourself up. So I really, that resonated with me. I was like, oh my gosh, I want Ryan to win because of that. But everybody's art was amazing. Everybody's art was very inspiring. But that one touched me because I am very connected to that gold key. It's very it aligns with my spirit. So okay. So I'm going to show you the chakra set one more time because I'm going to talk a little bit about that healing energy and the manifesting energy. So I have my chakra set. I'm actually in my studio today. Just switch gears. Okay. So this is something that we make in the Creative Soul Society membership. We focus on one chakra a month, and then we eventually end up making a set. So reason I wanted to tell you about the set is because the energy that goes with getting into the creative flow. So the manifesting energy starts with what we did yesterday of just like listening, right? This is that crown chakra, opening up to source energy, whatever you want to call it, God, universe, whatever it is that you want to call it, and just being open to receive, right? Being present, being open to receive. And then using your imagination, which is what we did yesterday, right? Dreaming big, seeing how can this be possible in my life, right? So this manifesting energy is coming down, right? It's coming down from source. And then the next one, I put keys on this one. I don't know if you could see it or not, but this one is using your voice, about speaking about your desires. That's why it's important in community here. That's why I wanted you to share in the groups or in the breakout rooms, and also in our community, so that you can share your desire. There's power in that, power in the words that we put our order into the universe of what we want. And then that heart chakra is connecting with others, connecting with relationships, and then the solar plexus. So the solar plexus is all about our power with purpose. It's about having self-confidence and knowing our self-worth, right? And then this is the getting into that creative flow. That's that sacral chakra energy where we hold our emotions right here, being in that flow state. And then lastly, and this is having fun, joy, right? This is the action one. And then coming down to that root chakra, which is grounding. And this one says the universe provides. And we talked about that yesterday too, about just feeling supported, even when things aren't working out exactly as planned, we could still know that we're supported, that there's a lesson in that emotion, okay? So I talked about that energy coming down, but the energy going up, because these are spinning wheels, chakras are spinning wheels, right? The energy going up is called sublimation. So it's coming up to release, coming down to manifest, coming from the universe, coming down to earth so that you see it. But when it's coming up, that's that healing energy. So if something, if it's moving in that correct frequency, you will be in that creative flow and it's easy to manifest. But if something is, if one of the chakras, or maybe more than one chakra, is not spinning at a correct frequency, meaning spinning too fast, or if it's spinning too slow, then that's where we need the healing work. And this is where you start to realize, oh, well, maybe I do need to work on my self-worth. You know, maybe this is something that some sort of childhood trauma, or someone said something to me and it's stuck, right? Or maybe I do need to work on my money, or feeling supported by the universe, knowing that my desires, I'm really worthy of my desires, and not feeling guilty, right? So a lot of times as creatives, I've talked with a lot of you, we're real good up here. We're really good on these upper chakras, but it's these lower chakras are where we get stuck, okay, of where we need to dive deeper. And it doesn't just happen with one-time session, okay? This is even like for our therapy sessions that I do a minimum of 14, just because there is there's a lot to be unfolded, right? Because with our behaviors, with our stories we tell ourselves, these are our belief systems, our subconscious is the ruler. And you have to change those stories, and you have to be aware of those stories. Yeah, Lisa says healing takes time. So it does. And so that's why the story I told you yesterday is that I didn't even know I had an issue with money. I really, really, really didn't. And it was important for me to do that healing work. And it didn't go with the healing work, didn't happen with our therapist. It actually ended up happening with my first coach. Okay, so I want to go into that and tell you a little bit about that story, because it was eye-opening for me because I didn't even know that, something was happening. And it was that time where I started making the art, right? I told you that I manifested the house and the studio and I got into my creative flow and I'm making the art. But the thing is that I had all this stuff and I wanted to make money. And I was like, I want to start selling it. I want to be bigger. That's what I was talking about. Like I wanted to show up and share my art, not just for me, myself, but I want to share it with others. And, when you go to school, like I went to art school and I went and got my master's in art therapy, they didn't tell me any kind of marketing. They didn't teach me any way to, they taught me great techniques, but they didn't tell me how to show up and how to make money doing what I was doing. Right. So I remember like the first time when I started showing up, I was making these anatomical hearts, these blooming hearts, and I'd put my artwork into like a salon. And a neurosurgeon saw my blooming hearts and he called me up and he's like, "Hey, do you make brain paintings too?" I was like, "Oh God, that seems so strange, but I can." And so I ended up doing a whole brain series and he invited me for 3 years in a row, I went to these brain surgeon conferences and I sold art. And so part of this process, when I first started, I was freaked out. I was like, if I went to this conference, I was like, these people are smarter than me. They're going to ask me about brains and I don't really know, but they didn't care about that. When I showed up, they were asking me, how did you get invited here? Like that was like the main story that I had to tell them that I knew someone. But it was interesting that I was scared to put a price on my work. And I had put like maybe $30 on a print. And the neurosurgeon, the one who invited me, he's like, "You can't be selling this for $30. They won't take you seriously." And I was like, "What?" Like I was just clueless. I didn't know how to put a price on my work. And he's like, "You have to like the least $100." And I was like, "Okay." So that at that time I was like, I need to hire someone. I don't know what I'm doing. So I hired a coach, right? My first coach. And I was freaked out about that. I was freaked out about that because it was like $500. I remember even going to ask my husband for permission. Like I needed permission. I didn't need permission. When I look back at it, um, he's like, "If you feel like you need this," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. So I guess I'll invest in myself." Like I was scared to invest in myself, right? And it freaked me out. So anytime that someone was asking me about either my online services, I started putting online services, or how much something was, I physically felt anxious. Like I was scared. And when I told this to my coach, she was like, "I think you have an issue with money." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." She was like, "What are your first stories? What do you remember?" And I was like, "Well, I remember like if I needed $20, I would just ask my dad and he would give it to me. Doesn't seem like a big deal." And it was during this time, um, like the question kept coming to me, right? Like what's happened? Like what's happening here? And the better question that I had needed to really reflect on was like, what was the first stories that created anxiety within me around money? That's what it was. And so looking back, um, it was when I was like in middle school, like we had um like I had my mom was remarried to this fellow and they ended up getting divorced and they always provided, we always had lots of things. I felt very well taken care of. And when they divorced, the money went away. And that part was triggering for me because when the money went away, my mom had to go get like a new job and she ended up being a flight attendant. We had to like move across country to like Colorado and I was living in Florida at the time. And so there was this connection of uh, a lot of pain from that divorce of having to move away from my hometown, leaving my friends and family that was there, and thinking that, if you have money, it can be taken away at any time, which it could. I mean, people lose jobs, but the relationship, that connection, because money is just really a just tool. You can't eat it. You can't, doesn't keep you warm. It's just a tool. It's just a, it's like a neutral thing. But I wasn't seeing it as a neutral thing. I was seeing it as something scary. And I heard this story of this woman. I was actually listening to a podcast and she was talking about a money monster. And she said that people had money monsters when they're energetically scared of money. Like if it's like you're going to energetically push it away. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh my God, I must have a money monster. I must be pushing money away in somehow or another. And so I actually drew out my money monster. And I looked at it and I looked at those things that were coming into my head about what I thought about money. And within that time, I also did a money honey and learning how to, hey, you can have a better relationship. So I did the inner work, especially with my coach at the time, of getting in touch with my money honey. And within that the next day of doing that money honey, I sold $1,000 painting. And I was like, whoa, it was like the universe like winked at me and said, hey, you're doing the work. You're doing the work, keep going. Right. And so it was opening myself up to saying, hey, there's something here. Energetically, there's something going on that I continue to work on. So my intention, even telling you the story, is so that you can believe that what your desires are can come to you. It's not going to be instant. You can't just put down a seed and just say, grow really fast, right? You got to nurture that seed, right? You got to nurture it to let the roots go, let it come up. You got to water it, give it sunshine. It's about nurturing. Okay. So it was really looking at how I can create new opportunities for myself, how I can create learning how to make those systems in my business. And that's why I think coaches are great, is that you get to learn different frameworks of how to put yourself out there, right? Being comfortable doing that, but also being able to let people know that you have offers too, right? So I learned how to have a better relationship with money. I mean, I wasn't sitting down, and at that time, I wasn't sitting down on a weekly basis and managing or doing my budget. Now I do. Now I take it as like a sacred time to sit and have a money date. And when I want something, I ask the universe. I really look at that relationship that I have with the money and that I have with the universe. And if I have a desire, like when I wanted to manifest this deck, it costs a few $1,000s to print, because you can't just print one. Well, you can, it's like $150, but it's like, if I want to manifest the deck, I had to get a few $1,000s. So I asked the universe, and the universe says, hey, this actually came, I asked at nighttime and it came to me in the morning, was follow up with so-and-so because they want to work with you. And I did. And they said yes. And then they paid in full. And I was able to purchase the decks in a bulk. And I was just like, thank you, universe. So it's like, when you have a desire and you ask the right questions, things can happen, things can move, things can shift. Okay. So it's learning that that system and knowing that you are supported, and that belief system. I even like throughout my day, I thank the universe. I was like, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for giving me guidance. Thank you for everyone that I meet. I know that we're here for a reason, and we're connecting on this level. So it has that ripple effects, right? So this is what I teach, like in my signature program as well, is like getting really clear about, who your ideal clients are, and then creating the system. When I talk about frameworks, it's creating that system of how you're going to, set up your offers and how you can show up in their most confident self and share your gifts. Oh, thank you, Lisa. She says you love my stories of healing and manifesting. Oh, Holly says, I listened to the Money Conversation podcast yesterday. I love that story that you made the big sale. Yeah, it was confirmation. So that's why it's cool to get those confirmations from the universe, to get those signs, right? Oh, Lisa Kendall says, I'm asking the universe to help me purchase a large number of the decks I have created right now. I'm getting movement, but need an angel investor. They're there. Someone who truly believes in my product by large numbers, so I can really offer a larger audience. Thank you for sharing. Yes, it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. It's listening and then being open to receive. And I do a lot of that with like my journal writing as well. So, when you do the work, when you do the inner work, you learn how to start to open up and start to really, when you're in that creative flow, start to use your art as a way to channel it too. Okay. And in those little steps, that's where it kicks those ripple effects, and bigger things can happen. And then you're opening yourself and you take those risks, because a lot of times we're too scared to take the risk of investing in ourselves, because we're like, well, what if it doesn't work out? Right? You have this doubt. It's like, well, if something is resonating with you, that means that you should move forward with it, right? So through that action, even like showing up, even though when I told you I was so scared about the neurosurgeon conference, like just freaked out, but I showed up, and with that, the confidence came. I remember I was being like super scared, even presenting in front of people. And I remember when I was getting my master's, my voice would shake, my stomach would shake. And I had to do a lot of healing work, like even me wearing this color, if this is the throat chakra color. Um, I had another colleague, well, actually, she was another student when I was in my master program. She gave me a stone to hold when I presented. She's like, I think you need to ground yourself. She gave me a crystal, and I was like, okay. And then for like years, I would just hold crystals, and it helped. I was like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. It's like being able to, use the tools around us. So yeah, so thank you for listening to my story. But the reason I'm telling you this is that I want you to believe that healing can happen, and especially with your desires, and because money is a big part of it. It's related to, it's our everyday occurrence. We're spending money all the time, and we do need to invest in ourselves, especially to make those desires, especially with our heart's desires of creating books or decks or artwork or the studio or whatever. It is an investment. So I just shared that story with you, but I actually have one of my members, well, actually, she is in my Art of Healing and Manifesting signature program. It's Jen Colombo. I want to invite her on here because she is in the middle of the program, and I want to just like hear from her so she can, remove all pins, sure. Hi, Jen.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. And like Leah said, like I'm in the middle of working with her, and I do really believe in like getting the support that you need and the right support that you need. Leah is one of the few people that actually understands what I do, what I'm up to.
Can you tell us what you do? Because it's so important.
Sure. So I am an artist, but I am also a creative guide. I am a deck creator. I am a journal creator, and I also create those products for other people. And because Leah also has created all of that stuff, I don't have to go on and on about all the back end stuff and like how complicated it is. So it's actually very wonderful to work with somebody who actually understands that, because I've actually never had that opportunity before, even though I have worked with other people before. I didn't really get where I wanted to get to. And I just really love the combination of like really being in the creative flow, because when we're in the creative flow, it snowballs out to all of these other places. And although I do help guide people with that, like I don't always want to be my own guide. Like it's not really, doesn't really quite work like that, right? Like Leah was talking yesterday about how she is an art therapist, but she also went to an art therapist, right? Like we need our support systems. And this is a good one for me to be talking on because we're talking about Money Monster today and all that stuff. And like I have worked with her on that. I have extensively worked on that, and it has gotten better. And I'm still a work in progress on that, but I have made like great strides forward to that. And, really, really getting clarity around like my offers and what I do. And then the part that always trips me is always then like the pricing part of it, right? Like which Leah has been a great help for me on that as well. And, just being able to get really, really clear on like what my soul's purpose is. And we were talking about that yesterday. It really does all tie together, and it doesn't, happen like this. Although I have done a lot of stuff in a very, very short amount of time. Thanks to getting the support. Yeah, so I feel like I was going to say something else and I lost it.
Well, I think what's important here is like we're going to go into this like this money monster and talking about our relationship with money, but also because it's a healing process. It doesn't just happen with one time, because it'll come up in other areas, and that's where we need to like look at like, why am I saying this? We say things to ourselves like I can't afford it, or Why aren't they buying my books, or why isn't this happening? So when those things come up, sorry, my daughter's at the door.
Mhm.
So when those things come up, it's a part of, it's like the fear, right? It's like fear doesn't ever just go away. It's your relationship with fear, right? So it's your relationship with the money, and it's your relationship with also your self-worth. And I want to know if you could talk a little bit about that, because if you don't believe in yourself, or if you have these doubts about, showing up, sharing your gifts, that's huge. And it's a process, right?
Yeah, it's certainly a process. I mean, and that's part of why it's so good to have support from community or one-on-one mentorship or whatever, because like you said, like when I had started working with Leah, I had already been doing a lot of work on money stuff, right? But I'm like, I still have these blocks. I'm like, I don't understand this. Like, I'm checking, like everything is clear for all of these money. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I should be good. Like, it should just be flowing in like crazy. And she's like, well, have you checked in on like your self-worth and your value? And I was like, whoa, boy. So like sometimes the blocks are so sneaky, you don't really necessarily know where they are, or like it may not be obvious to you until someone points it out to you, as well as, this is a big thing too, which I think actually ties to our self-worth, which is honoring where you are and actually celebrating. Leah totally called me out the other day in such a beautiful, loving way, because a bunch of amazing things happened. And she said, how did you celebrate? And I was like, oh, I didn't really do that. Like I kind of sort of did, but like not really in like the way that was way more beneficial, which I've since course corrected. And I really appreciated that. Or like if you're avoiding something, right? Or like something's taking longer, you may not really know why you're doing that, which is also what I've learned, which she's also very lovingly and I do mean this tremendously, in a very loving, nudging way of like, well, have you thought about this? And I've totally had the other opposite side of the spectrum where I've gotten shamed. And that does not occur here in this space, which I'm so grateful for. I have found that the work is continuous, because even though I have done a lot of work, like I know that I'm partly here now because she's helping me get to some of the stuff that is not some of the more obvious stuff. And I've been able to start to slowly work through that and start to move past those blocks and put myself out there more. Even if something doesn't work, I'm like, well, it's not really my value. Like that doesn't necessarily have to do with me. It's just like, oh, let's like course correct. Maybe we need to talk about it in a different way. Maybe I need to do this differently. Like it becomes more of a fun experiment instead of this, oh gosh, I'm not valuable or I'm not worthy. And that takes time. Like I still have those that come up where I'm like, oh, wait. And I'm like, no, it's okay. So yeah, I think that self-worth is so important.
Yeah, most definitely. It's sneaky that ego will come in, and our ego was formed when we were little, so it's a lot of that. Our parents, our upbringing, our teachers have put things into our mind, and we believe them, and so now we have to like kind of look, like take a step back and be like, is this serving me? And how can I change my mindset around it? Because a lot of times we're impatient, like we want things to happen right away, but it's not. It's like we have to nurture it and allow it to grow. So, I mean, I appreciate, I love working with you. I feel honored to be on this path with you. And I invite you all to go check out Jen Colombo's site. She just put it up, and she actually creates these really amazing boxes, like a bundle, and it has oracle decks, journals, and crystals, and all kinds of good stuff. So she creates these packages for people, like for coaches, so they can gift to their clients. So, and she's actually doing one for Christmas too. Like you're going to be selling them for like if you want to do presents for people. So
Yeah,
really, really amazing work. And I'm really proud of you. So thank you for coming up and sharing your experience. I think it's really important to hear from other people that we're all in this, and we're all learning. I'm growing myself. It is a process. So thank you, Jen. I appreciate it.
you.
Beautiful. All right, you guys ready to get started on doing some art? Yes, they're like, yes, give me some art. Okay, so I have my oil pastels. I have my journal. I actually might be talking today. I'm not sure if oh, got some paint on here. I would say get your art journal. And if you want to use paints, colored pencils, whatever you got in store, we're actually going to be doing a two-part process, which is meaning that I would suggest you using two sides, meaning 2 pages. So do one side, we're going to spend a little time here, and then we're going to spend a little time here. We're doing 2 different drawings. All right. So this exercise I was mentioning, it is in my book, in the Art of Healing and Manifesting book. It's related to the root chakra. A lot of times they will, I say, like, I've done research on it, where people who use the chakras, they'll say it's the money section. It could be in the sacral chakra, which is all about flow and joy, because money does bring flow and joy, and it's a currency, right? The sacral chakra is all about movement, and it's a water element. And then the root chakra is about feeling supported and grounded, your basic needs, right? And it's the earth element. So I put it in the root chakra section. And looking at those stories, especially of what happened growing up. So I'm going to ask you to do one page. We're going to look at just one side of, think about what is that relationship that you have with money, and where do you feel like, just kind of looking back at your stories. Remember, it took me a while. It took me like over a week to figure out, I'm like, why is this still sticking with me? Of what are some of the things that you're saying about money that could be blocking you? Things like, I can't afford it, or maybe that's like out of my reach, or oh, or maybe you're jealous of someone that has something more, right? So what are some things that are coming up? I want you to write them down, or even a story that you remember when you were growing up that had a negative effect on you related to money. Okay, so go ahead and take some time just to write down some thoughts around that. And then the other part is, I want you to spend some time. Of course, we're going to spend a ton of time here, but like at least 5 minutes that you're going to start your sketch, and you can always come back to it, right? Start your sketch. I like to call it the money monster, because it's an energy. And if you are having some sort of resistance to money, that is an energy. It might be anxiety related. It might be fear or shame. Okay. And create a image that represents that energy. What does it look like for you? I say a monster, like you can actually like literally draw out a monster. My first money monster actually looked like my stepfather, because I don't know, I always call him the step monster. He was a terrible person, but when he left with all the money, I was mad at him. I was really mad that he took everything away. But you draw out what it looks like for you. I had a client, I actually put her information in the book and her story. I'll just tell you guys as you're drawing. Hope it's okay that I'm talking while you're creating. This was her money monster, giving you a big FU and writing about how her creativity isn't valuable. People with money are greedy. And one of her stories, I don't know if I put it in here or not, but it was like, she remembered like asking her mom to buy her an ice cream when she was little, and her mom told her that she couldn't afford it. And that really stuck with her. And having to do the healing around that, like you're worthy of ice cream, you're worthy of abundance, you can indulge in yourself. So there was a lot of like healing work. So it's not like just like one time, it's a layers of things that of memories and rewriting that story, right? But it is possible. It's definitely possible. Oh yeah, Jen, and put your website here too, so people can check out the boxes there too. So Lisa asked, so are we creating negative words in our money monster, right? Yes. So go ahead and you might have done this before, because I know, Lisa, you're in the Creative Soul Society membership, and we did this a couple years ago. So this is something like, what is that relationship with money right now? What's coming up for you? Or you can look at the past experiences with money. Sorry, I was getting supplies. What side of the page do we want the money monster on? I would say I would look at it the left side, and then the right side, we're gonna do something else. So like the left side would be a good place. No, I haven't given instructions on the second part yet. Are you done with the first part already? No, not yet. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys some space to create. It's so interesting how much we learn from our parents too. Lisa says, I've written out my money story many times, and every time I do it, more comes out. Yep. There are many painful memories. That's what I'm saying. It's not just a one-time thing. It's an evolution. It's really uncovering things. I always have difficulty coming up with an image for my monster. Okay. So you could start with a color. Think of what color you would like for it to be. It might turn into a person, or it could just be an abstract shape, line, symbol, anything along those lines. Does anybody have any words that have come up that you might say around money, about money? Jealousy, okay. Curiosity. Greed, okay. So maybe if you don't have an image just yet, Karen Dawn, you can just write some words. So maybe what's your relationship with money, or is there anything that you feel like you're limited to? The teacher says unfair, unworthy. Yeah, there's a lot of worthiness parts of this. Undeserving, blame, shame, loss, possession. Like how do they have that? How did they make that much? Guilt, scarcity, safety, lack, debt, must work hard to earn. Okay, so it could be abstract. I could see abstraction for all of these things. What does that stress look like, right? What is that debt look like? Lockdown had me grieve plans, so I feel anxious about making plans. Okay, well, go ahead and put that grief on the page, right? What does that look like? What color is your grief? What color is that anxiety? Just go ahead and release it. Like, honor where you're at, right? The healing part is like honoring where you're at, but also acknowledging it, that it's there. I did not know I had an issue. And did I tell you a story about me ripping up the dollar bill? I think I posted on like Instagram. Like, one of my first coaches, when she was telling me about that I had an issue, she was like, go rip a dollar bill up and videotape yourself. And I was like, God, that seems so crazy. But I did it, and I was like ripping it, and I was, my face, I was looking for the video yesterday, I couldn't find it. I was like, oh, I wish I had it. But I was literally so freaking like freaked out about ripping this dollar bill. And I went back and told her, and she was like, see, I told you, your relationship is not okay. This is where you need to learn to how to have a relationship. And the part of it was, she's like, it's going to be messy at first. She's like, it's like making a cake. You never made a cake before. The flour spills, sugar is going to get all messed up. You're going to have the ingredients a little off, but you got to sit with it, and you got to give it some love and attention, because money loves attention. Money loves to move. Money wants to be looked at and taken care of and have fun. If you're not having any fun with money, money doesn't want to be around you, right? I don't want to have a relationship if you were going to just talk about how stressful you are and that you make me feel guilty. Like, I don't want to hang out with you, right? So if you're doing that, you're pushing it away. Okay, so we need to realize what we're doing. Let's uncover this. This is part of the part of just acknowledging it and saying, okay, now you can make a change. Jen says, does this fit on my budget? I look forward to the day I can click and buy a thing and experience. Yeah, and practice it. Jen, I told this story in our Thriving Creative group of when I was practicing learning how to just be okay with money, like going somewhere and just not having to look at a price tag. I have so many different experiences of like just getting into that fun money mindset, right? And so I went to my favorite store, Anthropology, which is like super expensive. And I just went on a shopping spree, and I bought whatever I wanted. And I didn't like, obviously I had to love it. But I didn't look at the price tag. You know what? I'm going to go in and just see what that feels like, not having to look at something, right? Let me give myself that opportunity. So I gave myself that opportunity, and it was fun. And I came home, and my husband walks out. This is the craziest thing, how the universe works. He walks outside. He's like, guess what, Leah? And I'm like, what? He's like, the money that you gave me for stocks, you just made, I think it was like $500 or something, that it made $500 interest. Like, it made money. He's like, you just made $500 in your stocks. I was like, what? I was like, that's insane. And like the number in mind, it was the exact same number that I spent at the store. I was like, no way. That's insane. Like, the universe, again, showing me, have fun, enjoy, do the flow, right? So sometimes we just have to allow ourselves that opportunity to play, to experience, to dive in. I was talking about yesterday, like how much we dabble. Dabbling does not work. It's like dive in, experiment, have fun. Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit, just because, you guys ready to switch gears a little bit? Yes? Do I get a yes in the chat? Are you guys still working? Okay, I got a few yeses. Okay, cool. So like I said, you can always go back to the other one, but just looking at that other side of giving your, I talked today, I didn't actually make art, but that's okay. I've done this exercise for myself a lot of times. So going to the next page, the other side is getting in touch with your money, honey. Like, how do you want your relationship to be with money? Like I told you, I want to have fun. I want to be free. I want to be able to buy what I want to buy. And I want to go to trips to Europe, which I just scheduled one for the summer. I'm just really excited about with my family. I want to, like, I remodeled my house a couple of years ago. Like, I want to be able to do that kind of stuff, right? Like, I want money to serve me, and I want it to serve other people, right? So what does that relationship look like? How can you get in touch with your money, honey? Okay. So what I want you to do is, you can put affirmations. Affirmations are so powerful, of looking at how you want that relationship to be. have a few, I put them on my phone, such as, oh, I think I saw them this morning. It says, I receive money from many different sources. I love money and money loves me. I put that on there too. That's a really good one. I have a few more. Hold on one second. I wrote some down. Every investment comes back to me tenfold. I believe it. Every time I invest, it comes back to me tenfold. People are excited to give me money, right? When I was working on my art, and especially like even my confidence with my art, it was because I used to make art and post it up like when I first started, and I was like, nobody cares that I'm making this. You put out there like no one even cares what you're doing. And I was like, why do I care? And I was like, you know what? It's important. My work is important and it's healing in the world. And I had that another message on my phone. Now I believe it. I believe my art is important. I believe that it's healing in the world and it's going to have ripple effects. And I know it. So you have to like tell yourself so that it will eventually become a belief, that new belief, right? You got to tell yourself like one negative comment. This is like Brene Brown. It's like one negative, like sticky, ugly thing that's stuck on you. You need 14 positive statements or compliments to wipe that negative one away, right? So we're so impressionable when we're little. Those things, those beliefs get in there. And if we don't clean it out, we don't realize they're even there, it's going to stop us, right? So go ahead and draw out your money, honey, on the other side. Lisa says, yes, I have found we need to do the action first. We need to show the faith, then we'll be rewarded. That happened to me too recently. Beautiful. I love it. Will you post them in the group, please? Yeah, I can type them right here. Money doesn't equal happiness, but it can help me make memories that make me happy. Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's just a tool. It's just an amplifier, right? And it's about the experiences. So it's more about like allowing your soul to have fun, right? Allowing like, what are you craving? Okay, universe, how can I? And then following those signs, right? And really being open to it. Okay, I said I was going to write these down. So let me go ahead and type them in here. I love that you guys are such visual people. I'm the same way. I'm like, what did she just say? So every investment comes back to me tenfold. I love money and money loves me. People are excited to give me money. Money comes from many different sources, which I've created. Making money can be its own experience. This was something I learned writing on a semi helping someone. Oh my God, it was a tons of fun and I hit 9 states in the summer. Oh, cool. Very cool. It's fun to receive money too. Like little ways when I first started like doing my money healing, because it's an energy exchange. That's how I even think of like my programs or my art therapy practice, is that it's an energy exchange, and that's what's valuable, right? And so I remember, because I told you before, like I always felt like I always had to do things on my own. Even when I went to the grocery store, I would always pack my own bags and always walk it out to the car, right? And I was like, God, I got to learn how to give and receive things, right? That was the hard part. It was just being open to receive that, like more of that feminine energy. And I was like, you know what? One of the first practices that I did was going to the store, allowing the guy or whoever the bagger bag my groceries and walk to the car, and I gave them a tip. I do that all the time now, and they're so happy. I was like, this is cool energy. Like, why haven't I been doing this before? You know, it's just a few dollars, and it's just you could just see that energy exchange, right? It's just like being open to receive it. You don't have to do everything by yourself. Christina says, oh yes, energy exchange. We definitely need to learn to make our energy exchange with money more positive and more balanced. Yes. When someone pays to come to one of my events or use my services, I'm excited because it shows they see value in what I'm offering. It's very exciting and affirming. Most definitely. And that's why we have to do it, right? So it's that energy exchange so they can feel that energy, right? It's beautiful work. It's important work. One other story that I thought was fun. One of the techniques that I was using. This is when I wanted to remodel my house a few years ago. And have you guys read that book, Ask and It's Been Asked and It's Been Given, or Ask and It's Given by Abraham Hicks? It's the Law of Attraction book. You guys read that? It's a really good one. And Jen says, my money, honey, is a confetti dance party. Beautiful. You better buy some confetti this week. Okay. So in that book, Esther Hicks, she also goes by Abraham. It talks about this little technique, and this was so cool. It's like you have these old checkbooks, like you didn't use all the checks, like old ones that are just kind of blanks because we don't really use checks anymore, right? And each day you give yourself $1,000 and you get to spend it however you want. So like the first day you get $1,000. Okay, how do you want to spend it? And then you write out to where you want to spend it to. You write out the check. So the second day you get $2,000, and then you write yourself a check. Third day, $3,000. What do you want to spend it on? Fourth day. So this goes on and on and on. You know, $50,000, $60,000. You got to be consistent, right? That's the healing. So I started doing that at that time, and I was like, this is fun. You know, I'm buying boats and cars and all kinds of stuff at this point with this like imaginary checkbook. But what it did was it opened me up to receive and opened me up to be okay of like spending money. I remember when I was remodeling my house, it cost over $20,000 to get my doors and windows redone, and another $30,000 to redo the bathroom, the kitchen, and the floors. And I had the guy that came over to do it. He didn't even do like, you know, Zelle or money transfer. He wanted a check. Like he was like totally old school. I was like, wait, I get to practice this. This is freaking amazing. And it felt good, because if I didn't do that kind of stuff, I didn't do that kind of money exchange before, like practicing it, it would have felt kind of foreign to me because I never like bought something so big, right? And so it was fun for me to write that check. I was like, cool, let me write this check, and it felt good. So this is where we get to practice being open to receive, like have those dreams, have those desires, and then ask, how can I? How do we open up to it? Okay, I'm going to go back here to the comments really quick. I just went through a mental process of whether I should lower my prices. I think that was not a good idea. I don't think lowering prices, there's probably something else going on. Like, for example, like if you look at yourself as a whole, obviously, I don't even know what you're selling here, but a lot of times we might not have the right messaging with where we are putting out there, or not targeting the right people, your ideal clients. So this is a big experiment, but it's showing up and then letting people know what it is that you're offering, not necessarily about lowering your prices. I don't lower my prices on my paintings because I know energetically I'm going to find someone that's going to pay for them. And I'm okay if someone can't afford it at that time. When they are ready, they'll come back. I do believe it. Curious, is bargaining a bad money practice? You mean like when you say bargaining, you mean like trading services? I think that's cool. Definitely trade your services. It's so common, but I feel so uncomfortable doing it. Oh, you mean bargaining like going down? I'm just trying to understand the question. I just don't want to answer it incorrectly. I guess bargaining is like they're going to give you like a lower price on something. I guess if you're okay with they want a little bit lower, guess you have to have some sort of self-worth and some boundary of saying, you know what, I don't want to give it away any lower than this certain amount. Like this is kind of like cutoff point. I think that's important. Last weekend, my husband and I did what are all the fun things we would buy if we won the lottery or came into lots of money. It was fun. Yes, most definitely. That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Dream big, have fun. When do you want to have that second home, third home? One of my favorite ones is money always comes up to me in unexpected ways. Beautiful. Yes, Patty, I have that one on my list too. Okay, cool. And she loves trading. Beautiful. So I'm going to do the breakout rooms again. Are you guys good with that? We got some yes. If you can't join a breakout room, that's okay. And then we will come back and do the closing. And then I want to show you guys what the prize is today. It's the membership of the Creative Soul Society, which is very cool. Okay, we got one yes. I guess that's a yes for everybody. Okay, so I'll give you like maybe like 8 minutes. Everyone gets like 2 minutes each. Don't be shy in the group. If you're available, please talk. Let's see. Okay, here we go. And if someone doesn't show up, you're always welcome to come back. I'll be here. And you can welcome to join the breakout room. I'm going to write the time down, 12:57. 8 minutes will be 1:05. All right. Hi, you guys. Did you guys not get a breakout room? Oh, can't use your mic right now. That's fine.
It came up with a room and then I pressed it and then I came back here. So I don't know what happened.
Oh, let's see. Rebecca, doesn't give you the option to join again?
What did I press?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought it said join the room.
I'm looking here too, like participant. Let's see, I don't see your name. Let's see here. Oh, I'm not sure. Well, you're here with me. Ah,
So Leslie.
we got Leslie here, Rebecca here. Hi, Leslie. Did you want to share yours, Leslie? Okay, how about Becca? Would you like to share yours?
Yeah, I can do.
Okay, I'll add a spotlight.
Just got to admit.
Got it.
So I've gone very much onto the abstract.
Mm.
Money monster.
Ooh, look at that black and red. Root chakra.
So I don't know which way it goes.
Did you put some words in there?
Yeah, so it's words underneath that you now can't see at all. But it was all, yeah, I just remember sort of parents always saying, no, it's too much. We've not got enough. All of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was that. So fairly ironically, they came from both their kind of upbringings were very affluent, so I don't quite know what happened. And then I'm starting that. So I've put on the back, I love money and money loves me. So I haven't.
What colors do you think you want to use?
I'm probably going to go with girls. I really like the that light pink, the portrait pink, and then a kind of buffy, and then a bit of white. So really kind of lifting, light, gold.
Beautiful.
Rolling to me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's kind of like your scarf that you have on.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that another time. But the picture I did yesterday, I realized I bought this scarf yesterday. I saw it in the shop and I thought that makes me feel really happy, the colors. And then so I bought it, and it wasn't Anthropology. And then picture I did today was, I realized it was the same colors from yesterday's. I did the replay. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
that's a sign there. Your art is speaking to you that to bring more of that, right?
Yeah.
Those colors in. Beautiful. I know some people got bumped out. I just want to that's okay. You're in the right spot. I know the few of you that are here, like either Martha or Leslie or Marguerite, would you like to share? Martha would like to? Okay, Martha, let me add a spotlight. Hi, Martha.
Hi.
How are you?
Gosh, I feel like I have a bunch of little monsters
Mhm.
around me. And a lot of it ties in with my self-worth. And right now, I'm not working. During the pandemic, I picked up art just to do something and to cope with pain. And actually, I have an MSW, and I feel like I don't know what to do. Like I thought of expressive art therapy,
Mhm.
like going that route,
Mhm.
because it would take less time than getting like a certification in art therapy. I don't know what you think about expressive art therapy. But there's a lot of like self-doubt, like, why would I do this? I'm just like learning how to draw. I'm just learning how to paint. Yeah, there's a lot of those thoughts in my head. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so it's, those are really big life decisions of like what direction you want to go. And it's really thinking about how you want to serve and who you want to serve. And is really the bigger picture. I mean, I have my master's in art therapy and is a clinical background. I still use it. I still go into schools and I see students and things like that, but I have a really big passion about supporting creatives and standing in their power. So I use it as maybe more of like a non-clinical, kind of like a coach of using the techniques that I've learned, but also to help people shine up and show up. So, it's really just deciding, what does your soul want to experience? Do you want to go? I mean, it is, all of it's a self-development process of, how you want to show up and what you want to offer. So if you do expressive arts therapy, they just incorporate more writing and dance and other things other than just the art. So it's just another path to go on. It's not a right or a wrong. It's just, what does your soul want to experience? Really, that's the big thing. Yeah. And in getting over like any kind of like imposter syndrome, like for a long time I had doubt in myself too, of not sure, what I was doing was good enough and things like that. Maybe I need to go get my PhD and blah, blah, blah. And we
Right.
get up in that, like thinking that we need this extra thing, and you really don't. It's really about getting clear and taking action steps of, you have something to offer, you have stories, you have a life experience that someone else can also benefit from. So it's really exploring more of that kind of thing.
That makes a lot of sense, because I do feel that, like, I have a elderly friend that says, you don't need that. You have life experience. Why do you need another credential? Why do you need that? Why do you need this? And I'm like, no, I need it. Like, I need like credibility kind of thing. Where honestly, if I was to ask myself, I feel like I would want to go to art school, and I think like, oh my God, it's like so selfish. Like, art school, like you're gonna spend money on that?
Yeah, and then there's many ways to get those kind of techniques and create like your own series. And art school is fun, but just remember, in art school, they don't usually tell you how to sell your art.
I've heard that, and I'm like, yeah.
There's some things they still need to work on. I'm gonna let the breakout room know that we are coming back. Broadcast message, please come back. Okay. And then I will close all rooms. We had a good bunch today. So this will close in a minute. Thank you, Martha, for sharing.
Thank you.
Hi, Natalia. I see your bright, shiny face.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good too. Well, I hope we didn't lose too many people. Sometimes we lose people when they go in the breakout room. So I'm curious, for those who come back, did you guys have any insights, any ahas, anything that you'd like to share with the group? Christina said that was fun. Okay, good. I'm glad you had fun. That was my intention today. It's like, wanted you to have fun. Does anyone want to share anything? Natalia, you're still smiling. Do you want to share anything?
Well, no, this is the second time I do this exercise, and it's just so funny, like how going through this kind of brings up the past experiences and how I can relate to what I'm, currently dealing with in the present day, and how I would have to say, like, my experiences weren't always bad, but it was always good and bad, because my mom would always talk about abundance, and she would always talk about just always look at the growth and the glass half full. But then she would go, and we would go on like this little shopping spree, and then she'd come back and be like, don't tell your dad we bought this, and she would hide all the bags in my room. So I always had like this confused sort of feeling in terms of like abundance, but is it like, do we have guilt in us? So I do feel like I've had blocks throughout my my life in even charging clients, or even getting the job and not invoicing. Like, I just don't invoice, and then I wait too long, and then it just becomes a problem. Like I'm actually I'm creating this problem because there's a block. There's something blocking me from receiving the money, or receiving the flow. So I have actually since then, working with you, actually have developed like an automatic invoicing system where I actually have prepared my invoices in advance, and just the fact of clicking that button, I don't have to do it. It has made it so much easier to receive, and now it's just one less thing to worry about. But actually receiving it, actually starting to feel good, because I think it's always that emotional connection too with money, where like I'm receiving it, but do I feel guilty, or should I have charged this much, or maybe should I have charged less, so it's all these things and emotions come up. So I think that I have grown greatly, but I still feel like I have much more to go, so I can be really happy and feel sort of that flow of, it's okay, this is life. I'm giving an awesome service, and I'm providing, and I also have a team that benefits from it.
Yep.
So it's not just me, it's a group of designers that I work with, that we all benefit from this. So it's now I have to think of not just me, but like the energy and the vibration that I'm creating, and that this team that I'm growing. So I'm kind of getting into that energy more.
You're doing good. You got to celebrate
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, that's another thing that Jen was like, I was the same one. Like I haven't really celebrated some of these wins that I've had this year. So I gotta
Yeah,
do something fun for myself.
I did a dance party last night. I mean, I'll give myself, I'll splurge and get some like Lush bath bombs and
Oh, I love that.
bath, yeah, just like treat yourself. Like you're doing the work. You're in there. You're diving in,
Yeah.
doing it. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for your support always.
You're welcome. I love seeing you guys rise. I think it's amazing. I totally support you, and it's awesome that you're here. So, yay. Beautiful. And just to let you know, Natty has Natty Love. You got to look her up. She has a podcast, Natty Love Podcast, and it's all about self-development and sharing her story. So check her out.
Thank you so much,
Beautiful.
Leah. Now I have to do another podcast.
Yes, it's happening. It's in the works. It's beautiful. Awesome. It's 111 again, guys. This is when we ended last time. I wanted to start on 11:11. We ended yesterday on 111. It's beautiful. Christina's gonna buy some eyeshadow. Beautiful. Yeah, treat yourself today. Treat yourself for doing this work. It's a lot to unpack. I see Christina says it is. This is huge. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's not something that you're gonna just get in like a one time. So that's why I even offer my art therapy services, because it is a journey. It is it's layers of unpacking. And then even with the signature program, it is about how do you make those money streams? But if you have some blocks in there or self-worth issues, we got to deal with that. We got to like find that flow, find create the framework and the system so that you can have that flow. So it's important work, especially as creatives. We want to rise. I'm going to share my screen really quick. And I'm going to show you what today's prize is, because we're going to be posting our art and, write about like what your insights were today and comment on your fellow creatives. I'm going to be picking somebody, and you are going to receive Creative Soul Society membership. Can you guys see this? There it is. All right. So what is this membership? It is, we got November meetups coming up. We got what we're doing now, even though this is a free experience for everybody, but we have next Sunday, we have the Oracle card creation of the sacral chakra, very important about being in the flow. It's going along with what we're already doing. We're doing another healing money exercise. I just learned this new one, which I thought was really powerful. I wanted to share with you all. So that's going to be on Saturday, November 26th. December, we have the Oracle card creation root chakra and vision boarding. I love vision boarding. And then moving on to January, we got a art show. We're doing our first art show. So as a member, you get a free entry, but it's an opportunity to create art about exploring, an exploration of healing through creativity. So you get to submit a piece about artwork that you've created that was healing for you. So, and then we're gonna have a little party to go along with it. And I am setting up for next year. We got a few things already on the calendar. Got deciphering meaning in your art. And then I always love having guest speakers and presenters. So we're putting together the calendar for some more work around that. So that will be the prize for today for you guys post. And then tomorrow is going to be the Thriving Creative course. It's just that one little component in the signature program that I'll be giving away, but we are taking action tomorrow. So I would say definitely show up. Lots of fun, lots of good stuff happening. And yeah, go celebrate yourself. It's Laura's birthday. She's gonna go buy herself a nice camera. Beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you all for showing up today. I'm sending you all lots of love. Go finish your artwork and post it. I'm gonna go put the sticker on right now. If any other questions come up. Oh, one more thing. I was just going to let you know. You're welcome. I am going to be opening up my calendar to do free consultations. So if that's something that you want a little bit more support with of your direction and to explore more of your journey, then you're welcome to schedule that with me. Let me see here. I'll post it in our group too. And actually, I think I have it in the email. So you're welcome to schedule it, a consultation through there. Oh, thanks, Becca. I appreciate it. All right. So if anything else comes up, please let me know. I'm sending you guys lots and lots of love. Bye.